What is going on, my Houston Texans family? Let's have a conversation about the wide receiver group for this Houston Texans team. Because on paper, it looks good. You have a legit number one wide receiver, Pro Bowler Nico Collins, coming off of back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Nico Collins, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best wideouts in the game. A wide receiver, too, that you acquired via trade, a rare trade within a division, but the Houston Texans acquired Christian Kirk from the Jacksonville Jaguars only for a 7th-round pick. Christian Kirk is your new leader in the wide receiver room, the new Stephon Diggs. I also don't see Christian Kirk being here long term, and I think it's going to be a rotating door at the number 2 spot unless you find one in the NFL draft. But Christian Kirk is your number 2 wide receiver. Your number 3, right now we don't know, but it could either be John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, who've been here the last couple of seasons. Both of these guys had some moments throughout the year. What if it's one of the new guys you picked up in free agency? Braxton Berrios, Justin Watson. But that's on paper. Because when you look at the product on the field, and this is where my concern comes, it's now been 2 years in a row where the only wide receiver available for you at the end of the year come playoff time is Nico Collins. Nico Collins himself has not played a full season in the NFL. Christian Kirk is coming off of a season-ending injury. Braxton Berrios is coming off of a season-ending injury. You see why I'm concerned? Because the past few years, this wide receiving group has been banged up. I am saying that to say this. Should we still rule out wide receiver in the first round of the upcoming NFL draft? Pick 25 or hell, even trade up to get, say, a Matthew Golden. I understand offensive line is a huge problem, but the Houston Texans got 4 draft picks in the top 100. Wide receiver is a need to. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a mock draft where we select a wide receiver in the first round, and we're going to see if we can do anything to fix the offensive line in rounds 2 and rounds 3. My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. So please make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget we are doing a watch party at the Dave & Buster's Houston location. We're giving away prizes. We're doing games, giveaways, celebrity guest appearances. Me, Athletically Declined, and Dave & Buster's are really going out. So, you guys know, April 24th, round 1, night 1 on the NFL draft. You can show up there whenever you can because Dave & Buster's is going to be open all day. I personally will be starting my draft show around 6 o'clock. It's going to be an absolute scene. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are thinking about attending. So without further ado, let's get started with this Houston Texans mock draft where I select a receiver in the first round. But the one thing I did not tell you is that I was going to be making a trade. I was going to be trading back with the Baltimore Ravens. Pick 25 and 166 is being sent to Baltimore. In return, I'm getting pick 27 and a 2026 Baltimore second round pick. And at 27, guys, he's kind of really fallen out of the first round and is being viewed as an early second, and that's wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. Out of Ohio State, We know the connection between him and CJ Stroud, one of Ohio State's best wide receivers. Emeka Egbuka has great route running. I'm going to bring up the draft profile in a minute here. Actually, let me just do it right now. Emeka Egbuka stands at 6 foot, 202 pounds. The RAS score, if that matters to you, 9.72. Emeka Egbuka is a well-built slot receiver who projects as a reliable chain mover at the next level. He offers good overall size for the position and has good strength and athleticism. He primarily aligned in the slot while at Ohio State, and that is where he'll likely call home at the next level. Egbuka is an excellent route runner and understands how to use head and body fakes to create separation, and is outstanding in using his hands to keep his body clear throughout the stem of his route. He is a third down machine who constantly gets open and moves the chains. He has extremely strong hands and outstanding body control, ball skills, and strength to make contested catches in contested situations. And all over the middle of the field, he does this. He is tough and competitive with the ball in his hands and runs like a running back rather than a receiver. Egbuka will likely never be a home run threat at the next level, as he lacks the deep speed to stress NFL caliber corners vertically. He struggles to stack defensive backs consistently and will need to be creative with his routes to separate at the next level. He will be best utilized as a team's number 2 option who can excel as a reliable slot receiver, playing opposite a true big play threat. We have the true big play threat in Nico Collins, and I think Emeka Egbuka and Nico will do some damage for the next 5 to 6 years, catching passes for CJ Stroud. This is what I'm doing if I'm the Houston Texans, taking a couple steps back, getting myself another draft pick for next year. So that gives me an extra second and an extra third to do whatever the hell that I want to do. Hell, I could trade back up into the first round if I wanted to. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, so in the first round, you guys know where I always am going to go, offensive tackle. But today we went with the wide receiver. We traded back from pick 25 to pick 27. Got an extra second round pick for next year and took wide receiver Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the second round. And I went with who I think is one of the best guards of this draft, Jonas Savaiinaea from Arizona. He stands at 6'4", 324 pounds, RAS score 9.19. Savaiinaea projects best as an offensive guard at the NFL level, where his average range as a blocker due to the lack of top-notch length and agility can be better masked. Because of his abilities in pass protection, his ceiling is arguably higher inside as well. A sturdy, well-built offensive lineman with a powerful anchor, Savaiinaea does a good job of keeping his pads low and his weight underneath them. Though he's primarily experienced as a zone run blocker, he has enough gap experience to project into that kind of system too. He also has a strong upper body and keeps a wide base as a blocker. Savaiinaea's inside-outside versatility should help him, as he could realistically step in as a starter right away at whichever position his team needs him at the most. He's a plug-and-play starter who could be a good tackle or a great guard, and it's just a matter of which the two you would prioritize from there. That sounds fantastic to me, and I am taking Junior Savaiinaea with my second round pick. And hey, we get one part of this offensive line fixed, and I would go ahead and put Jonas Savaiinaea at right guard. That's where I would put him. Put him in competition with Ed Ingram and Laken Tomlinson, and I'm expecting Jonas Savaiinaea to win that matchup. So pick 79 for the Houston Texans, third round. Come on now. We've talked about him before. Dylan Fairchild, offensive guard out of Georgia. Dylan Fairchild is a powerful and technically sound offensive lineman with the versatility to excel at guard or tackle. Known for his physicality and aggression, he can at times tend to lean to the over aggressive side, which can hurt his technique and positioning. Fairchild's quick feet and balanced stance make him effective in pass protection where he handles speed rushers and anchors well against power. A lack of experience is a concern with limited collegiate starts, and he could need more development than other interior offensive linemen in this draft. However, those starts are in the SEC, which sets Fairchild in a good position heading into the draft. He also has a high football IQ and positional flexibility, having been a two-way player in high school. So both Dylan Fairchild and Jonah Savaiinaea have been regarded as good pass protectors, and that is exactly what our head coach DeMeco Ryans said that we need to do. We need to fix. So, ladies and gentlemen, and with 89, I went with something fun. I went with Deion Walker, defensive tackle out of Kentucky, right? Giving DeMeco Ryans a huge threat on the defensive line spot. But my first three picks, Emeka Egbuka, your future wide receiver too, has connections with C.J. Stroud. Jonah Savaiinaea, your future starting right guard. Dylan Fairchild, your future starting left guard. And what you could do here is have a competition at left tackle for between Cam Robinson and Titus Howard. And if Dylan Fairchild's not there yet, you could just put Titus Howard right there at left guard where he has been playing before for this Houston Texans team. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't mind this mock draft at all if it did indeed happen. I also got myself an extra second-round pick for next year. With that being said, the Houston Texans need a wide receiver. They got one in Emeka Egbuka. They also got two starting guards of the future who excel at pass protection. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.